Hey, it's Steve here. We're going to take you through a look at Tour Creator, a new Google product where you can create virtual reality tours using Street View imagery or your own 360-degree imagery to make virtual reality tours that you can either see on your computer or you can even view in Google Expeditions. So you can use these in class, you can get your students to create them, but they make very, very good VR tours very, very easily.
So here we are at the start page of Tour Creator. The web address is vr.google.com/Tour Creator, or of course just search for Tour Creator. There are a whole bunch of creator tools up here that we can look at at another time, but let's just click to get started and jump on in. So here we are on the Tour Creator beginning page. We can either choose from templates to use or we can begin our own new tour. So let's have a look at how we start with a fresh new tour. So on our start page, this is the beginning page we can see. It's very, very simple to click into the certain areas and just build away into our own VR tour. Down the bottom it does give you some information about using this tour in expeditions, which we'll talk about at the end once we've created our tour. So we'll start off by giving our tour a name, and I'm going to focus on the area of Rotorua. So here we go, Rotorua, call it tourism. A short description of what the tour is about. Choose a category, and the one I'm going to choose here is, I'm going to go for places and scenes. Then we need to choose a cover photo. You must have a cover photo or else we can't go any further than this. So you can either just drag and drop an image, or we'll select the image that we've already saved for this. So on my desktop here happens to be a nice base image for Rotorua. And here we go, Rotorua there, like in the middle, let's go and create. So Tour Creator works on a set of scenes, as they're called. So we're adding our first scene. We can either choose from Street View, or we can choose to upload our own 360 imagery. If you have a 360 camera, then you can upload your own imagery, which you've saved and converted into a 360 image. Otherwise, you can just use the freely available Street View imagery that is there. So we're going to search for a place. So we can go straight to Rotorua and see what is there first of all. And we can go straight to Rotorua. On the left here, we'll see where we are currently looking at. We can zoom in, we can zoom out, we can move it around and see what we want to find. So if we want to look at specifically an area, so for instance Lake Tarawera, let's either double click on here, or we can begin to zoom with our plus and minus. So what we can do is click into here and search for a location. So if we want to actually look for Mount Tarawera, we'll wait to see what pops up. There we go, Mount Tarawera. And now you see on the left we've zoomed into Mount Tarawera, and Pigman there is sitting ready for us to have a look around. So if we grab Pigman and take him over the map over here, you'll see those two blue dots pop up. They are imagery that we can use within this. So they've been taken by me, I knew they were there, so we can pop those in there. So this does rely on the availability of 360 imagery. That's why I'm saying if you had your own camera, you can take your own, or if you know someone has one, you can borrow one, and take it with you wherever you're going. Use your own 360 imagery to bring into this using the upload function at the top. So we'll simply drop Pigman onto this photo here, and here we are. We're sitting inside Tarawera. We can zoom around through the image to see where we're at, and if we want to use that, we go down to the the right hand side here, and click on Add Scene. So now down the bottom of our timeline we have our untitled scene. In the middle here is our picture, and on the right hand side is the information about this picture. So let's zoom around. Now you see down the left hand side it says set starting view. This is what the people will see when they click into this scene. So if we want this to be what they see, we'll just click on set starting view. Okay, so this is what we want to see. This one here, let's go save. So that's the image they're going to see when they click into this scene. So the untitled scene is on the bottom, so let's give it a name. Up in the top here, that is going to be crater of Mount Tarawera. Oh, let's spell it correctly. The location is Mount Tarawera. Let's give it a description. Okay, we can of course credit the photo. So that will give us just a look at this photo. It tells us what it is, and the people can then zoom around to have a good look inside this photo, so they get a good understanding of what they're seeing. Now we can add a couple of things to our picture. Now I know that people love to run down this wall of the crater on the scree slope, so I'm going to add a point of interest. So down on the right here I click add a point of interest, and it brings up this blue circle here. We drag it to where we want it to be. We go there, and now down the right it says untitled point of interest, so we'll click on that and we'll give it a name. So I'm going to say the scree slope, and then give it a description. Now we can also add an image, if we want to add an image that pops up when we click on that point. Or we can add narration. We can click on this and we can bring in recorded narration about this location. Really, really good for adding information and stories about a place. So that's my place I'm going to leave just as a simple point of interest. Now when you're using this in expeditions, when you click on this area, this information will pop up within expeditions as well. So there is my point of interest. It's all added. Let's make sure we've added it there. We can add a second one if we want to. So the scree slope is my point of interest here. This is when I've just added a second one, which is now an untitled point of interest. So let's drag that around. Now if we decide we want to put it somewhere else, just simply drag it. Drag the image. And up here I know is one of the starting points of the walk. So let's click on that and give this a new point of interest. There we go. There's my point of interest. When we look around now, we can see that those two are sitting where we want them to see. So when people are looking at our VR tour, they can simply click on those and read the information, or see the overlay, or listen to the recorded information you've put on there. So now I'm going to click publish, and that will then publish it to the website. So there it is, Photo Tourism One Scene. That's what we'd do when we publish if we were at the end point. Because we're not at the end point, let's move on. We're going to add a scene, and we come back to the same place we were before. Now I will default back to the Googleplex, the Google head offices in Palo Alto, so we need to go find a new place. So if I decide I want to look at a different place in Rotorua, I'm going to go to the Redwood Forest. There we go, let's click on that. And that'll fly us down to the Redwood Forest. So if I decide that I actually want to look at the tree walk, not the forest, then let's just edit our search, and let's go the Redwoods tree walk. There we go, Redwoods tree walk, Longmore Road, Whakarerewa. Cool, that's us. And here we are, we're straight into a bit of 360 imagery of the tree walk itself. that's looking really good. If I grab Pigman, I can hover him around and see what other imagery pops up. And by simply holding it over that dot, you can see in the little picture and then the big picture that pops up an image of what you want to see when you drop it. So if I decide that's a good one, no, let's try a different one. How about that one? How's that looking? So that's from the outside. So let's have a look at the outside. So if I now let go of my mouse and just click and drop Pigman, we're now on this place here. We can drag around, have a look. Yeah, that gives me a good idea of what it's looking like. There's the walk. Okay, so let's add a scene. Click add scene, and here we are, back into the same editor as we saw before. So I'll add this one really quickly. This scene up here is the Redwoods tree walk. And I just want people to have a look at it. Oh, my spelling is not great this morning. And then if I decide I want to set the starting view, let's click on set starting view. I want to be able to see that walk. There it is, there's the walkways. Let's save that. Fantastic. Add a point of interest. There it is up there. Let's call it walkway. Now if I decide this time I want to add an image, let's just jump out of here and quickly jump into Google search and look for some available photos. Use just a simple image search and see what we can find. There we go, there's one, that's from Tree Walk. Let's click on that one. Checking of course that we can use the image for what we want to use it for, checking the copyright. Let's quickly save this one. Let's just call it Redwood. Back to our tour. Back to our tour and we click on add image. Let's select an image. Let's go back to our Redwood. And there we go. So there's our image we're going to add. Let's click on add. Now what it means, when we click on that point of interest, we're going to see this. We're going to see an image overlay of some people happily walking along the tree walk. Now we can add old photos, we can add historical photos, we can add photos of us being there or the people we are with in the location. So this is how we add an image overlay to this point of interest. If we click out of it, it goes, we go around. Once we click on that point of interest, then that's going to pop up. Click out of it and it's gone again. Really handy thing to put in photos of specific things happening or events happening at that place. So that's our Redwoods tree walk location. Let's jump to one more to give you an idea of how we can look down in another location. So let's go add scene. Let's jump into town and see what we can find at Tapuia. Again, on the left hand side we have a look at where we are. We have Pigman sitting here. If we grab Pigman and lift him up, then we can see there are the blue lines, which are the street view car images. And then we have the dots, which are 360 images, usually uploaded by people. You can upload them yourself, as I said, using your 360 camera direct to Street View, and then simply use all these things to create your own tours. So if we drop Pigman here, we can see the little image is above Pigman, and the image is also on the right as a preview. Drop that, because this is going to be our image we're going to use. We simply go add scene, and here we are into Tapuia, and that's in our next scene. Again, we can add points of interest, we can add a location, and we now have our different locations around Rotorua to look at different tourist attractions. Locations Tapuia. So there we have a simple tour made up with some points of interest. Again, to add a point of interest, simply click. Here is our point of interest, and label it. Nice big chunk of pounamu that sits in the beginning of the entrance of Tapuia. Now if you wanted to add a narration over there, you can simply record an MP3, upload it to here, and it will talk about what that is. You can add a picture as well if you wanted of some pounamu. So we've now made ourselves a tour of 3 stops: the crater, the redwoods, and Tapuia. So what we can do now is we're going to publish our tour. We come to the top here, we click on publish. We have our name, how many scenes we have. We can choose our visibility. Then we simply can click publish. We wait for this to publish, and it will then give us a link. This link here we can copy, and we can share with whoever we like. We can share with our classes. We can post onto Google Classroom if we're using Classroom. We can email it to people. We can put it on a site. Now once people have that link, they can then choose to open it however they wish. And that may be opening it in Expeditions, which I'll look at in our next step. So if I click on View Tour, we can see what our tour looks like. So this is simply looking at it on our computer screen. You can do this on a phone, on a tablet. If you do it on your phone, it may give you the option to open it in VR, and you can simply pop it in some goggles, some really cheap things like really affordable goggles like Google Cardboard, or you can go for the more expensive VR goggles if you like. So this is our first scene. This is Tarawera. Remember, I set the start point to look this way. Here is our point of interest. If I click on our point of interest, it pops up over on the left here, telling us what our point of interest is all about. If we're looking at this on Expeditions, these will pop up as cards of information on Expeditions. So this is our first stop. You see we can simply navigate down the bottom here, scene 1 of 3. So let's pop forward to our next scene, into the tree walk. And you remember the tree walk, I put that image overlay. The image is sitting there, so we can simply click on that, and then it pops over. Here's our image we've put over the top of there, and a description of what the image is on the side here. So that was our image we simply overlaid over that point of interest. Our next location, popping down to Tapuia. We can scroll around, we can look up and down. Again, if you're doing this on a phone and VR goggles, you can simply move your head around. On an iPad as well, that will work. Clicking our point of interest, and there we have our point of interest over on the left hand corner down here. Huge piece of pounamu. So those are our 3 scenes we have. You can click backwards and forwards through them, and you can choose to view them as well. You have a full screen option up here on the right, which will give us a full screen view without all the rest of the top and bottom in there. Down the bottom also there is a share. We can simply click on share to get some different ways to share it. So we can embed, we can open it direct on Expeditions, we can send it out via Twitter and via Facebook. So we can simply copy that and send it to Google Expeditions. So if we copy that there, so I've copied the link, and I can then email that to somebody who is going to use it on Expeditions, or simply put it on a site, or even make a short link so people can find it very, very easily. So that's the way you can create your own expedition, your own VR resource for class. It's a very, very simple process. and simply following those simple steps will allow you to add your own information, your overlays, some writing, some text, and also some sound overlays if you wish to have sound playing while you're looking at certain things. So let's have a look now at how this looks when we open it in a Google Expedition. Okay, so what I've got on the screen here is just a screen screen projector basically from my phone. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to find one of these on my phone. So now that I've made this VR tour and I've been logged in as in my Google account, I can simply go to Expeditions, open up Expeditions, and because I'm on my account, here I am again, then if I go to My Tours, there is the Rotorua Tourism Tour that's sitting in there. Now again, you can give people this link to find, or you can use it in class and lead a tour, which is a topic for another help sheet, I think. So if I click on that, it will open up like that. So then we can click to download it or view as a guide. So if I simply click to download that, that will download to my phone. Once that downloads, I can then open it up. I can open up in Google Cardboard, or if I want to put it in my Google Daydream, or of course there are many different VR viewers you can purchase to view VR in class. So I'm just waiting for that to download now, and then I'll be able to view this in VR on my phone. If you don't want to view it on your phone, you can just, of course, just view it from the desktop like I showed you before. So let's try viewing that tour, and it will open up, and I can then move through that tour as we've seen before. And if I come around and look up here, we can see down the bottom there is those cards that we created. So if I drag that up, so these are the things that we added before as our points of interest. If I click on the one that says the scree slope, there it is. And there's our point of interest we simply added, and there is also the information we put in to that point of interest. If I then just push it down again, like you do on any expedition, use this card down the bottom, slide it to the side, so it will take us to the next one, which is our redwood tree walk. That opens up. There's our image. That was the image I wanted to see at the beginning. Again, if I bring that card up from the bottom, here's our point of interest with our image. If I just tap on that, it will open that point of interest, and there's our image overlay. So of course, if you are in the VR environment, you'll be moving this around as you wish to look at different places and tapping on the screen or using a remote. Up the top here is my little click to go into VR. So if I do that, it will open VR, and if I put my phone sideways, we'll see how this looks on the screen. I'm not entirely sure how this will look. It's going to ask me to put it into my cardboard viewer depending on which way I have it set up. So there we go. When we're inside the cardboard viewer, that's what it's going to look like. Obviously when you're inside the viewer, it looks a lot better than this. But simply as you look around, it is full VR. So that's how we can see it within the VR environment. That's how we can create a VR tour very, very simply from our own computer using existing 360 imagery, or using a 360 camera if you have one. 360 cameras are becoming a lot cheaper. There are a number of apps that you can use to take 360 imagery. So that's us all finished. Hopefully that was useful for you. So this is my 360 camera. It's a Samsung Gear 360. It's been very, very useful for me. A lot of fun. I've taken lots of different places and taken a lot of 360 imagery, which then can upload straight to Street View, straight to Google Maps, or you can keep it and create these tours of your own. So hopefully that was useful. I'll flick out some information about other things I've talked about, and if you'd like to catch up with me and ask any more questions about this, then you can usually catch me on Twitter at crispy_smith, or of course just send me an email. Okay folks, that's us all done. See you next time. If you've got any questions, just get in touch. Thanks very much. Bye bye.